compliments, of course, of the Imperial collection. Now, we don't have the video footage as yet because we're still mulling through to find out some decent parts. It's all very, very fine having a GoPro, but if the user is rubbish, then it's a bit of a problem. So poor Rickard is going to be spending the weekend going through my tremendous footage to try and put something together that looks half reasonable.
If you don't know, Sasha went on a little trip with the fabulous folks from Lamborghini South Africa and, of course, the Imperial Collection, down to Ladysmith, where he got the opportunity to drive the brand new Lamborghini Aventador Roadster.
So, when I was a teenager, I had a poster on my wall of 3 supercars. The Porsche 959.
What a car.
The Ferrari 288 GTO. And the Lamborghini Countach. And then I watched the movie Cannonball Run, and Christy Brinkley and some other girl are screaming down the highway in the black Countach. I'd never seen a car like this before. Actually, the world had never seen a car like this before. It was just so futuristic and mental. As a follow-up to the Miura, this was extravagant, violent, and unforgiving. It was a real supercar. That was the beginning of my respect and appreciation for Lamborghini. Now, since the Countach, we've had the Diablo, the Jalpo, the Murcielago, and, of course, the baby Lamborghini, the Gallardo. Now we have a new V12 rocket launcher from the Sant'Agata stable called the Aventador Roadster. This is the car I had the rare privilege of driving from Ladysmith to Durban a few weeks ago. To use the term rock star means something has to be rather impressive. And let me tell you, I was rock star last Monday. Courtesy of the Imperial Collection, I was flown by private jet with Absolute Aviation to Ladysmith from Lanseria, and when we touched down, the magnificent Aventador was waiting just for me to get into it and enjoy its beauty and power. Now, driving very fast cars is both extreme fun, but it can also be quite frightening too. And when you have 7.5 million rands worth of machinery below your right foot, you do tend to be a little bit tentative to really wring its neck. That lasted about 5 minutes. Just under 700 horsepower and 12 pumping cylinders just behind your ears is one of the most electrifying and exciting things you can ever imagine. Supercars are about sound and performance. Now, the claimed performance figures released by Lamborghini are hugely impressive, but I didn't do that kind of a test with this car. My test was about a driving car on a relatively long journey. Impressive on all accounts. The drive, the drivability, the comfort were all more than I expected. The Aventador is a very big car, yet I was in the driver's seat. I felt as though I was not driving such a huge beast. It feels compact and direct. I felt as though I was really part of the car. The pedals are a little strange. The huge brake pedal caught me out once as my legs were a little bit to the left of the rest of my body, and that was easily adjustable, and I was eventually very comfortable in the cockpit. Now, the ride itself is remarkably smooth. I say this with a hint of caution, as most of the time I was on national highways. I think that on some out-of-city roads you might feel the bumps a little more due to the massive wheels in the car. In any mode that I drove the car, I did feel comfortable. Now, driving the Aventador is just bliss. I started off in Strada mode, which means street. And that lasted about 15 minutes, and then we put it into sport mode, mostly. There we go. The acceleration and the torque power of the car is true Lamborghini. There is power across the whole range of revs, and it just keeps going. To me, the most fun and pleasure comes when you go above 6,000 RPM. You need to have your wits about you and have confidence, because this is a frightening animal after those revs. The car just is another dimension between its 6,000 and 8,000 RPM. It's like a raging bull let loose in Pamplona trying to get to the stadium. It just wants you to push her even more and see what she can really do. And she can do a lot. I adjusted her into Corsa mode, which is racing mode. Even though I didn't take her on a track, I could see the difference between sport and Corsa. Now, in my opinion, the sport mode is more directional. The nose wants to guide you, whereas in Corsa mode, you as the driver have a lot more control. Both modes are magnificent, and the exhaust note is even more insane in the different modes. One of the great features I love is the ability to lower the rear window. Admittedly, it is only the size of a pencil case, but once opened, you hear the 12 horses screaming at you. It is magnificent. So is it perfect? Nope, it isn't. Sorry. The single clutch system befuddles me. For such an expensive car, why not do it 100% properly? The gear change is dramatic and violent, especially in Corsa mode, which is terrific, and I loved it, but it's not as quick as I expected. Then we have the interior. The seats are brilliant, the dials are futuristic, and the media center console is very sexy. But then you get the aircon unit. Now, I loved driving the car, and at one stage thought about forgiving Audi for getting involved with the interior. But looking at it again, I just can't. People at Audi, we know you own Lamborghini, but leave them alone. I wouldn't want a 7.5 million rand car with the same air vents, aircon unit, and buttons as those in an Audi A3. Would you?
No.
Maybe I'm just a little bit petty. Not sure. This is not a cheap car at all, but it is as desirous as anything you can imagine. It even looks sexier with the roof off. By the way, I drove the car for the first 10 minutes with the roof off. The car felt exactly the same in terms of dynamics, but at high speed, it is just very noisy with the roof off, and it's the wind noise, not the engine noise. So I prefer the roof on so I can hear the engine. Makes sense. Those who can afford it will love this car and will be the envy of any of those around them. It is beautiful, powerful, and sexy. I wish I could drive it again. That's my thought.
Wow.
That's my thought.
So it's a very, very expensive, superbly styled beast of an Audi.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't say that critical. Just the air vents. You know, you said the air vents and the button to turn the aircon on. It's just it's from an Audi A3. It's the same. That just spoils it for me. The rest of it is pure Lamborghini. It screams. It's super fast, crazy fast.
Is it properly fast?
No, it's properly fast. I mean, seriously fast. And you just cannot believe how quickly you get there as well. It's a magnificent car to drive. At 7.5 million rand, they'll sell what they get allocated. I hope, but it's very expensive. Very, very expensive.
How many are they expecting to get into the country?
I don't know the figures, but you know, they get various allocations. I think they've got like 1 or 2 left for this year, and the next year there might be 2 or 3. So I mean, it's a very, very select few individuals.
And
that
these are handmade cars as well.
Yeah,
I mean, they're
very select individuals that are going to have this car.
Yeah.
So I mean, listen, it's a real privilege to drive something like that, but phew, it's a lot of money.
What competes with it?
Well, I mean, it's a V12, so it's in that supercar. So you're up against the likes of the Ferrari F12. And the Ferrari F12 is about 2 million rand cheaper. And quicker.
What about the McLaren?
Well, the McLaren's a V8, so the McLaren is the 458 and the Gallardo kind of thing. So, you know, I mean, you're up against the V12 Aston Martin, you're up against the V12 Ferraris, those kind of things. Looks-wise, it's magnificent.
I think so too.
Just extraordinary.
Spaceship, man.
How it looks, but and listen, I mean, goodness, you don't every day have a chance to drive.
No.
You know, and especially to drive at 250 kilometers. Not the speed. I'm talking the distance.
The distance, yeah.
We didn't go. We didn't go over the speed limit.
No, you wouldn't. Why would you do that?
A lot.
No.
Anyway, okay, there we go. That's the Lamborghini Aventador. It's compliments of the Imperial collection. Hopefully, they're going to have it maybe in the showroom. We'll find out for you. And then if we do, we'll let you know if you can go and have a look at it.
And don't forget that you can find the folks at the Imperial Collection at the corner of Bryanston Drive and William Nicol in Bryanston and Sandton, Johannesburg. And you can go and speak to Carly or Hilton or any one of the very, very friendly folks who are there who'll be able to take your questions and perhaps show you around the showroom. Just go and have a look. It's good fun.
It is.